Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm so glad you came back. We have an awesome show for you. This week's show, I have a great author. His name is Marty Alston, and he wrote a book about his experience. And have you ever been in a toxic relationship and you were always being blamed for everything? Some people are very narcissistic. And we always hear about the woman's point of view. Well, today we have a gentleman who wrote about his own experience in a very toxic relationship. And he's going to talk to us about it, introduce his book. And his book is from a man's point of view, what a man goes through when he breaks up with a woman. All right. And we don't really talk about emotions that men have and things that they go through when they break up in a relationship with someone they really loved and cared about. So here we are. Marty, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Okay. So tell us, the audience, what is the name of your book?
The name of my book is I Am a Man When It Isn't Your Fault. Rise, recover, and live.
Wow. Okay. All right. And what inspired you to write your book?
What inspired me was I really wrote this from the traumatic experience that I went through 13 years ago. It was birthed from trauma and pain and what I went through with an individual that I dated from my church 13 years ago.
For most men, you don't get a chance to tell how you feel or the hurt or the pain that you go through as a man and how you're viewed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Or sometimes, he must have did something. That's why people automatically assume it's the man's fault. Sometimes things just don't work out. But sometimes, tell us a little bit about what you went through. Just, not to give your book away, but how you were made to feel when things were not going well in the type what we discussed.
Well, there was a lot of disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of disrespect. And I was always told that I need to go get help. I need to go get fixed. I really wasn't included much in her life. I was in her life I had limited access in her life.
What does that mean?
It means that I was only around certain circles. I was good enough to be in church, but to go around to support you if you had an outing or she was active in the community, I couldn't go out and support. She would not allow me, quote unquote, to go with her. She didn't want to be seen with me. I wasn't seen much with her in public other than
Wow.
I was a minister at the church at the time. And she knew that. So I met her in church and she knew who I was when we had met.
Okay. Can you give us your credentials?
I have 3 degrees. My first degree is in criminal justice. My second degree is I have a bachelor's in management and I have a master's in divinity.
Wow. That's something. You were telling me about, we discussed like narcissism, how narcissistic people operate sometimes in a relationship where it can be very controlling. They want you to operate a certain way. And then if you don't, they can sometimes become frustrated.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's go to the next person. Can you kind of elaborate on what we had talked about?
Well, narcissistic people, they play the victim. They live their whole life in the victim. And they go through tunnels and sources of supply, if you will. And once they get out, after they've gotten all the fuel they want or gotten out of you, or they sense that you've kind of caught on to them, they'll ghost you and move to the next person and they'll start all over again. and then they do the smear campaign and make you feel very degraded, as I have and was. And it really, someone that you deal with, this will mess up your life. These people will mess up your life, not leaving you with any kind of closure, and don't care that you don't exist. You never existed.
So in this particular relationship with this woman, she just basically ended it, and like you know, some people, like, they block you or change their phone number, you can't get in, it's over, and you can't reach them. And do you feel like you didn't get closure in this relationship?
I did not get no closure. She ghosted. She stopped everything. Church, phone, everything.
Wow. Tell us.
It wasn't a grab. It was a sudden thing.
Okay, it was gradual. And did you seek therapy? You know how sometimes you go, well, gee, maybe it's me. Let me go get myself checked out and see, you know, when you're trying to work something out. Did you go get therapy?
I'm going to give a twofold answer to that question. We were going to, my late bishop was counseling us at some point, and we were going to him, and then I was doing my own personal for myself, because she had me so in a whirlwind. And the two therapists that I saw, they told me not to come back. They said, nothing is wrong with you, which I already knew. I did it for her benefit.
Okay, so you went to see two different licensed therapists to make sure that, okay, let me take a look at myself and see if there's something I need to work on. And they both told you it's nothing wrong with you. We don't need to see you anymore.
No, I didn't. I was doing it for her benefit. I knew nothing was wrong with me.
No, but I'm saying this is what they told you, like your confirmation. You knew in your mind, you felt like there was nothing wrong, and they just confirmed what you felt all along.
That's
like
correct.
There's nothing wrong with me. But like you said, you did it for her benefit. I'm just going to go ahead and show you in black and white. These licensed people told me there's nothing wrong. Wow. So where can we find your book?
My book is currently on Amazon, Smashwords, Barnes and Noble, Apple, Kobo. It's everywhere. And to make it easy, you can find me on Amazon, but I'm everywhere. You can get the book everywhere. And I'm in the midst of making it audiobook pretty soon. So that's going to be available on Amazon as well. Wow.
Well, this sounds like it needs to be a play. Me and you might have to talk later. Maybe get this on the stage, honey. I'm all for it. You know, I'm acting and everything. So we might have to get this in production. We definitely will be in touch. Hey, Will, you want to direct it? Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. And people, if you're in something, this book is a page turner. Like when he was telling me, I was like, it brought tears to my eyes, because I never, you know, as a woman, I just didn't think that men have those, they go through what they go through too. I know they go through it, but as a man, you're always toughen up. You'll find another one. Get over her, dude. You know, and sometimes it's just not that easy when you have a lot invested in this person. So thank you so much. And we do have a trailer of his book, and we'll have his social media. And, you know, something like this, I know it wasn't easy, Marty, for you to open up and share your story. People, a lot of men will read this book and take a lot away from it, and women too. You know, just because you're in church and you're there every Sunday, we all do different things, and you know, people just try to be a better person, treat people kind, the way you would want to be treated. Never just be mean to people and treat them disrespectful. You know, we got to do better out here. So again, thank you so much for taking time out your busy schedule. Marty, I wish you much luck, and you're going to find the right woman. I bet you will, because God has a plan for you, honey. All right. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon, okay? And I'm serious about that play, honey.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye. Well, welcome to the show. And today's guest is Mr. J.A. Harris, an author of 2 wonderful books. Welcome to the show, Mr. Harris. How you doing?
Hi, Jasmine. Thanks for inviting me. I'm doing fine.
And where are you located?
Well, right now I'm in Houston, Texas, but I always call Louisiana home. That's where I'm from.
Okay. What part?
I'm from Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge? Get out.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a really good friend that's from Baton Rouge.
Is that right?
Yes. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah. It's a great place.
Yes. Well, audience, Mr. Harris has just put out 2 wonderful books. I invited him to the show because, it's that book season, any season, but, it's fall, and this is where you can just sit in a nice cozy chair, wrap up, or go outside and read a book, and I cherish books a lot. And I am featuring women authors, children authors, and men authors, or everybody. All authors, holler at your girl, okay? So tell us about your book. What's the name of your first book? Can you show us your book?
Oh, my first book is called The Case of a Night Detective.
Wow. So is that suspense and mystery?
Well, it's can I put it down now?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll have it at the end of the show, audience. I just want him to show it.
Okay, it's a natural thriller that traces the exploits of Tremere Duchesne. He's a detective who happens to be a vampire. So it's a little genre mix thing going on. And the story's set in Louisiana in a time when vampires, or vampirians as they're called in the story, are accepted citizens in human society.
So don't tell us too much. I'm just messing with you.
You gotta tease people a little bit. But,
absolutely.
So Tremere, or Trey as he's called in the story, he plays a key role in bridging the gap between both sides of this new society. And of course, with his particular set of skills, he's slated to solve those cases that are beyond human boundaries. So the book's off to a really great start. After only a few months of its official launch, it's already leaped into Amazon's top 100 for African American horror stories. So that's pretty exciting.
Impressive! Congrats!
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And what
Been working really hard.
Really hard. Well, that's great news. I'm glad that your book is off and soaring, and I can't wait to sit down and read the whole book.
Oh yeah, you have to.
So, are you doing any book tours with your book, or are you just getting started, getting to know people out there with you because you're new to the author world?
Yeah, exactly. I'm right now. I do plan on doing some in the future, but right now I'm doing mostly social media marketing and networking. I will be attending the upcoming National Black Book Festival here in Houston.
Oh.
And I should be able. I'm going to try to make the Louisiana Book Festival shortly after. That one's going to be in Baton Rouge. So, but I'll just be attending right now. I'm a little too new to. The works are a little too new to be featured or to have me as a featured author. But I can be reached on Facebook at J.A. Harris Novelist. That's J.A. Harris, Novelist. For any notification on any upcoming featured promotions or any book signings.
Okay, audience, we're going to have all his social media information at the end of the show, so you can you'll have your Facebook and your website and everywhere that they can reach you.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And what is the name of the other book?
The other book is called Angelique's Choice, and now that one's also out right now. I have plans for many other books, but this one's out, and it's actually a love story, really, and it's about 2 former lovers who reunite several years later under, complicated circumstances, like marriage, one of them.
Okay. There's probably a lot of people's circumstances. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. It may sound like the seeds for the typical affair, but there's a twisty climax and an ending that might make you say, maybe not. So, I encourage people to read that one also. And but I don't want to give too much away though on that one.
Sounds intriguing. Like
Yeah,
both of
yeah.
your books are great reads.
I hope so.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jay. We know that you're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and are you residing in Houston?
Yeah, well, I had some, work to do here, so, and it's a little closer to home. It's a little closer to Baton Rouge. It's only
Okay.
about a 3 to 4 hour drive,
Oh,
and
that's nothing.
so it'll give me a chance to go home see mom every now and then.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, that's very important. She's one of my biggest fans.
I know. She is, and so proud. That is,
Some stories you're afraid to share with your mom because I don't know how she's gonna take this.
yeah. Like,
Can
is
she
they
handle
gonna
the
filter this
words,
for her? She look at me the
Yeah.
same.
Oh no, but she can absorb all of it. She is like, yeah. There's no problem there. So if mom loves it, you can keep on moving with it.
No, that's a good
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'm mostly a retired engineer. Retired civil engineer. So I was able to retire early and just do a few things here and there. But I I started. Well, I haven't really written creatively. I guess I started about eight or so years ago. But before that, I really hadn't done anything since high school. So I just had to sit back and think about trying to do something that I love, and I love a great story. So vampire stories was one of those stories I like. I like all kinds of stories, but vampire stories kind of particularly intrigue me because of the human element in them.
Oh,
Of all monster type stories, they obviously tend to be have the biggest human element. So that
I
that gives
agree.
me a chance to write a story that has a sense of reality or realism to it. Like for example, I wrote this story in first person. So I love when readers, ask me questions like, when you did this, or, when you said that, and I'm like, they're talking about me. And I'm like, wait a minute. You do realize this is a vampire story, right? You do realize this isn't real, right?
right. Okay.
So, but it makes me feel good. It lets me know that, I'm doing my job as a writer. So,
That's awesome. And you're in the top 100 Amazon. That is amazing.
yeah. So I hope more readers get involved and, help us get to number one, so we can all get there together.
Well, I'm definitely going to be spreading the word. And audience, please check out Mr. Harris. Like I said, we're going to have his information at the end of the show.
This is Angelique's choice, by the way. I forgot to raise that up.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. I like the
When
cover.
you see that on the website.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. And so, they both can be found on my website and I guess you're going to present this at the end, but my, it's at JaazBooksite.com. So that's JaazBooksite, one word.com. On the website, you can get the paperback and the hardback versions of either book.
Okay.
There are also links to Amazon.com where you can get the ebooks from Amazon. Both of them are also on Kindle Unlimited, where if you have a membership, you can read them for absolutely free. So that's a big plus for anybody who's a member there.
Okay.
And you can also find out more about my background on my website. So everything is there contained in my website, where you just a few clicks away for finding everything you need to know.
All right. And that's good to know, because you're the first author that I met that wrote two diverse books, like kind of like the love story and then a suspense vampire type of.
I took on a love story. It's kind of like a challenge because most of my stories that you'll see coming up soon, a lot of them have some element of love and romance in them. I guess because, like I said, I like so many different types of stories, and I do happen to like love stories as well. So most of my stories have an element of romance in them. And this one, I just decided, well, why don't I try a love story that, might have some slight fantasy elements to them, but, see if I can do the whole thing as a love story. So. I enjoy doing that too.
I bet there's people out there who could probably relate to some of the storyline in your book in regards to, love stories, complicated, things of that nature. Well,
I try to stay away from those though, but
yeah, in real life, in real life, we
but
try to stay away
it's easy
from
to
that.
find some subjects to write about.
Awesome. So, when can we? Are you going to do any future writings? Or you going to ride the wave on this? So we can start having our collection.
Yeah, I don't. I guess I forget to mention sometimes. Like I have a few awards for some other manuscripts before they, before books even come out. There are opportunities for writers to get awards before they even get published. And so I have a few awards for some manuscripts that'll be coming out soon in the next few years or so. But
congrats!
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, please send me that information via my email so I can post that at the end of the show, because readers would like to, the audience would like to know that about you. That makes it even more intriguing.
Oh, thank you. And even some of those are on my website now, which we just updated some of the prior awards. Yeah.
So it's on the website. So we don't have to go to the website, audience, and check out Mr. Harris.
Yeah, once you get in Jay's book site, there's also a link to Jay's journal where I kind of chronicle a few things, a few events along the way, and so that's a growing. That part of the website just came out, so that's a growing, dynamically growing section.
Okay, and it gives the audience a little bit, get to know you a little better, a little bit about you. This author that has these two fascinating books. So that's great.
Thank you.
Well, I do thank you for your time. And is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
Like I said, just look for me on Facebook. Right now, I'm very interactive and we're very active in trying to get the stories out to people. And my sincerest hope is that people learn to enjoy what they're reading again and be entertained, because people tend to forget that novels, and when you say novel, you imply fiction, but they're like on the fringes of entertainment.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people, are basing stories on novels. So that being said, it's important that we think of novels as being entertaining, and not to drag you down or anything, or not to try to put you to sleep or anything. So we like to keep you awake and reading through it, but we really like for you to be entertained.
Yeah, because when you read a novel, you can almost picture yourself in that setting. You can take an adventure without leaving your home, but it's like you're in the novel, like you're there wherever it's based at. You can just kind of vividly see all the descriptions. You know how writers write and they do all these details, and as a reader you're sitting there reading and going, I can just see this in my brain.
Yeah, and you get more insight when you're reading in the novels too, because there are things on television that they just they show you, but you don't really know the inner workings of what's going on in that character's mind. So, but the novels will have some of that, and you can also throw your own voices in there. When, I've heard readers say, I can see somebody in this part, or I can see somebody playing that part. So that's the voice they tend to hear, and it's always interesting to hear, because it's always different voices everybody hears, but everyone hears. But it's that's what makes it so interesting. Everybody can create their own, their own atmosphere in each story they read. And I'm intrigued to hear, I may see it one way, but, a reader may see it totally different. And I'm like, well, really? I didn't think about that.
See, you know what? That is so true. Everybody's perception, or they might find some little detail that somebody else may not have paid attention to.
Right. Even the author, it's like, wow, and I've seen, the well-known authors, and someone said, boy, if you'd have done this scene, this and that scene, and one of the authors said, oh yeah, well, I wish I would have done that. Right. But that's how it is. And so it's and when I'm writing, it's almost like, I have to turn myself into a reader also sometimes, because I have to read it like, 20 to 50 times before it comes out. So, I have to be entertained every time, or I don't feel like it should come out. So if I'm entertained every time I read it, this might be a good one.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for coming to the show, Jay, and we look
thank you for
forward
having me
to
on.
reading your novels, okay?
All right.
And maybe we'll have you back on the show soon, okay?
I would love to.
All right, and don't forget to vote. I'm on the voting thing. November's coming up, audience, so that's why I'm promoting that. Please vote. All right, well, thanks again for your time and patience, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.
Happy reading.
Happy reading.